Alright everybody, this is a video where we are going to simplify rational expressions, and this one's going to focus on multiplying and dividing because it's technically the same skill. Now the last video that you watched was pretty much a warm-up of how you do these in terms of skills, but now we're going to throw the element of factoring in. So in order to handle these, you're going to have great factoring skills. So let's start. This guy we're going to have to factor. What multiplies to 8 adds to 6. We're going to have an x plus 4 and an x plus 2. And then on the bottom we have, this is an x squared by the way. That's an x squared. So what multiplies to 4 and adds to 4? We're going to have an x plus 2 and an x plus 2. Now in this unit what we're going to focus on is simplifying. So in order to simplify, you must have the exact same thing on the top and bottom to cancel. So we can cancel these x plus 2's. So your final answer for this problem is x plus 4 over x plus 2. When you're in simplified form, if you're not multiplying anything, the parentheses are optional. But if it helps you feel warm and cozy, you can put parentheses around them. Either way, that is the correct answer. All right, next example. You have the difference of cubes. So that one would factor to x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4. And in your denominator, the first thing you would have to do is factor out a 2x. So we're going to have a 2x out front. And then that's going to leave us with x squared plus 2x plus 4. And that's it. This inside cannot be factored, and even if it could, if you notice that it's the same as the one on the top, even if it's a trinomial, get rid of it. So for this one, after you cancel those out, you are left with x minus 2 over 2x. And that is your answer. Do not try to get fancy and divide by 2, because you can't divide an x by 2. So that is your final answer. You leave it alone. You only simplify if it is mathematically correct to do so. So now we need to talk about multiplying and dividing. Here's the cool thing about multiplying and dividing. What's on top is going to stay on top. What's on bottom is going to stay on bottom if you are multiplying. So you don't really need to do anything else that's that fancy. So for this first example on multiplying, you're going to want to factor, and we are going to have 3x minus 2 and x plus 1 after you factor by splitting the middle term or Batman, whatever you choose. The second one, we're going to have an x plus 2 and an x plus 1. And over here, there's actually no factoring that needs to be done, but we still have an x plus 2 on the top and a 2x on the bottom. So we're still going to cancel anything on top with anything on the bottom. So this actually goes together. So the x plus 2's can cancel, and the x plus 1's can cancel. And your final answer for this example would be 3x minus 2 over 2x. And again, these 2's cannot cancel. Those x's cannot cancel. Do not make up new math. You can only cancel when it's appropriate to do so. Now, you have to remember when you divide fractions, what you're actually doing is multiplying by the reciprocal. But you also have to factor. There's an example of one where you might have to factor 4 times unless one of them is prime. So let's see what happens. X squared minus 1. That gives us x plus 1 and x minus 1, because that is the difference of 2 squares. And then on the bottom, we have x squared plus 5x and 6, so that's x plus 2 and x plus 3. Times. Now, you can just factor the bottom and write it on top, because we do need to flip the second fraction because we're dividing fractions. So this is going to give us x plus 2 and x plus 4 on the top now. And this one is going to simplify to x plus 4 and x minus 1. But we're going to move that to the denominator because you have to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. But now that we've done that, anything on top can cancel anything on the bottom. So these x minus 1s can cancel each other out. These x plus 4s can cancel each other out. And we have these x plus 2s that can cancel each other out. So now all you have left is x plus 1 over x plus 3. Again, do not cancel those x's. You are not allowed to do that because x plus 1 is its own group and x plus 3 is its own group. The parentheses are optional, but if it helps you, go ahead and write them down. Okay, so that's pretty much what it takes to simplify a fraction, multiply, and divide. So if you would like, here's one last question in this video. Press pause and see if you can handle that guy all on your own. As soon as you're ready, click play and see what you get. So this top left over here, we need to factor that guy by grouping. So we're going to factor out an x squared and a negative 4, which would be x squared minus 4, giving us difference of 2 squares. So this top is going to factor to x plus 2, x minus 2, and an x plus 1. This guy down here, he's going to factor to what multiplies with negative 2, adds to a negative 1, that's x minus 2, and x plus 1. This guy over here, the only thing we can do is factor out a 2, and leave an x plus 3 on the inside. This one's already simplified. There's nothing else we can do. This is just x plus 2. Divided by. Now we're going to want to change that to multiply and take the reciprocal. So the 2x now goes on top over, and this we can factor out a 4x, and we are going to be left with x plus 3. So a lot of work up front, and this is essential for having good factoring skills. So now go see if you can find some things that are in common. So we have the x minus 2s that cancel. We have the x plus 1s that cancel. We have these x plus 2s that cancel. We have these x plus 3s that cancel. And now all you have left is 2 times 2x, which is 4x, over 4x. And those are the same terms. 4 over 4 cancels, x over x cancels. There's no plus sign or minus sign. So that entire thing actually simplified to 1. So if you got 1 after all that work, good job. You factored all of that beautifully and canceled everything correctly. So that's it for this video. This is Longo and I'm out. See you, bye.